What is the National Guard's Posse Comitatus Act exemption? Imagine a scenario where the military is called upon to assist in domestic emergencies or law enforcement activities. You might wonder how such involvement aligns with the principles of civilian control and legal boundaries. The key to understanding this lies in the specific legal provisions that allow certain military forces to operate within the United States under particular circumstances. The Posse Comitatus Act, enacted in 1870, generally prohibits the use of United States Army and United States Air Force personnel to enforce domestic laws. Its purpose is to prevent military power from infringing upon civilian authority and to maintain the constitutional balance of powers. However, there are notable exceptions and exemptions that permit military and National Guard forces to operate in specific roles during emergencies or authorized activities. The National Guard, which functions as a reserve military force under the authority of individual states and the federal government, has a unique legal status. When the National Guard is activated by the federal government, it becomes part of the United States military forces and is subject to federal laws and regulations. This activation often involves the Department of Defense, which oversees the military components. The Posse Comitatus Act does not apply to the National Guard when it is operating under state authority. This means that when a state governor deploys the National Guard for local emergencies, such as natural disasters or civil disturbances, the Guard can perform law enforcement functions without violating federal law. The exemption here is rooted in the fact that the Guard is acting under state command, not federal. However, when the federal government activates the National Guard, the situation changes. In this federal status, the Guard's law enforcement powers are limited, but they can be granted specific exemptions. For example, the Department of Defense has issued regulations and policies that allow the Guard to perform certain law enforcement activities, such as crowd control or security operations, under the authority of federal law or specific statutes. One important legal provision is the United States Code, which authorizes the Secretary of Defense to establish procedures for the Guard to assist in law enforcement when directed by the President or under certain circumstances. These exemptions are carefully defined to ensure that the use of military forces remains within constitutional and statutory boundaries, balancing national security with civil liberties. In summary, the National Guard's Posse Comitatus Act exemption is rooted in its dual state and federal roles. When operating under state authority, the Guard can perform law enforcement functions without violating federal law. When activated federally, specific exemptions and regulations allow the Guard to assist in law enforcement activities, provided they adhere to established legal frameworks designed to prevent overreach and protect civilian authority.